Hello, thanks for joining us for this episode. I've got a friend here that's going to share a destiny dream with you, and I'm going to process through it with her as she shares it. So enjoy this time. It's going to be a good one. This is my friend Brooke Twiddell from
Newark, Delaware.
And we're going to listen to her dream and speak into that now. Okay, so Brooke, tell me about this dream. Go slow.
Okay. So I was at my house, my current house, and my parents were telling me I would be meeting a guy to go on a date with him. And in the dream, I remember they were either telling me or implying that this guy was my future husband.
Okay.
I didn't necessarily believe he would even show up, so I kept procrastinating getting ready. Then I saw a long blue Mustang pull up. It looked kind of like a vintage Mustang, and a guy got out of the car. I remember saying out loud in my dream something like, "Are you serious?" And I started to realize they were actually correct, and this guy was actually taking me out on a date.
Okay, let's stop there.
Yes.
Okay, so in the beginning, you have got a guy coming that your parents know,
Yes.
right? But you haven't met him,
No.
right? Okay, I believe that this is a symbolic dream and it's more about your destiny than it is about a man. However, we know that dreams also manifest in the natural as well. That's just the way it works sometimes, which is pretty brilliant. I mean, creator's really good at that kind of stuff. So what if this gentleman really represents a piece of your call or your destiny? And he drives a vintage blue Mustang. Well, just think of our true destiny and our true DNA and who we were created to be, like our design, is actually very ancient. It's like been in the works forever, right? So this Mustang could be vintage or ancient, but it might be about your design. Mustangs are fast, they're free, blue is revelatory, right? So this may be this is a 411, it's a revelation about your destiny, and it's current to this moment in your life or this present moment in your life, because you did mention that it's in the house that you live in today. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead. Wait a minute. Okay, also, your parents are aware of this gentleman coming, but you've not met him yet.
Yeah.
So what if your parents have met him and are familiar with him because they've more or less, let's say, they've called him into your life. They've prayed for your future,
Yeah.
right? And for the hope of your future,
Yeah.
and for the stability, and for a perfect love for you. What if that's part of what's going on?
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's awesome, right? Your parents probably do that.
Yes,
Parents
I
are
know
good.
they do, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, give me next part.
Also, one thing to add is the grass was green outside.
Perfect.
And yeah.
Yeah. And you said it was out front?
Yeah, when I saw him pull up, I was in my bathroom and I looked out my bathroom window and realized he pulled up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so out in front of the house is also going to be about present and future. Okay, out front, present and future. The green grass means that it's prolific. It's got life.
Interesting.
It's something that's growing. Now, viewers, remember that because it's growing, which means it's developing. It's not developed yet, it's developing. Okay?
So I started to rush to get ready once I realized he actually showed up. And I think my mom was also helping me from what I can remember, while periodically looking outside, watching my dad talk to him in light conversation. They were sitting on the front step by the main door to my house, while a small camera crew stood around them waiting to get pictures of us leaving.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there because you said, the first thing you said was, go back to the very first thing you said.
I started to rush to get ready.
Okay, starting to rush to get ready because you finally realized he was going to come.
That he was there.
Yeah, but interesting, you didn't really expect him to show up.
No.
And then it surprised you that he did?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
again, we're talking about the call, about the destiny. Now, your parents are, it's almost like they're cordial with, they're in relationship with this person. They know this person or they're communing with this person, which would make sense if they've been calling this in. They're familiar with it already, right?
Yeah.
Now, sorry, go back over what you just said.
My mom was helping me get ready, I believe.
Okay.
Well, periodically, I was looking outside, different times, watching my dad talk to him in light conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so they're already familiar. Mom is preparing you, right? So preparing you for what is to come. Now, there are, and I believe that this might be true, there are those that say that sometimes dad in dreams, is like creator God. So I believe that if that's true, then I also believe that mother sometimes is the female part of God, which I would say is spirit, right? So spirit might have been preparing you for what was coming, right? Okay, go on.
Interesting.
Isn't this an interesting dream?
Very. And a lot of what you're saying is confirming to real life. So.
Awesome. So it resonates.
Very much.
Perfect.
So yeah, the small camera crew was around on the outside, waiting to take pictures.
Okay. I'm going to stop you again
Yeah.
because I forgot the camera crew. You've
Yeah.
got lots of details in this dream, but I love it. Okay, the camera crew is about recording something. Now, stay with me.
Okay.
Think of the spirit realm, say the heavenlies, where you came from, where Creator is, where He designs and creates and releases His creative ability, right? Recording something is like, it'd be kind of like, oh, Brooke is having her first birthday, right? And we're
So it's like a
recording
moment.
a moment,
Yeah.
a very important moment in your life. So what if all of creation, like all of the heavenlies, are a part of and realize this is a moment for you. Like, this is Brooke's moment, right? This is this beautiful moment where she's going to be meeting her destiny. She hasn't met him yet. It's a surprise. It's a secret, but he's coming, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't think he was coming, but he's coming. And all of creation is like there. I love dreams for this reason, because we so often overlook all of the language of dreams, right? It's so easy to overlook some of that.
Now, it's interesting you say that in the dream because, coming back to memory, I remember in the dream, while I was looking out, viewing the camera crew, this guy and my dad didn't seem fazed by it at all. Yet I was looking out thinking, it wasn't a shock to me. It wasn't like, oh, they're gonna, I wasn't like starstruck by it. I was more like, okay, I guess this is something I'm gonna have to get used to. That was my thought in the dream. Seeing this camera crew was, okay, dating this guy means significance.
He's famous.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna have to get used to this, And I think that's why it was even more of a rush to get ready, because, and it's weird. I was more like, I need to get ready, for him, but also making sure I'm ready, on camera. If I would be honest with myself.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think every woman could honestly
Right.
say.
Right.
I would be thinking that, is my lipstick straight,
Yeah.
all of those
Gotta be
kinds
ready
of,
for
is
that.
my hair sticking straight up? Yeah, I get that. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I felt like I was moving slowly while trying to rush, kind of like walking through molasses, or running through molasses.
Okay, I'm going to stop you
Yeah.
there. Okay, that feeling of molasses, we all get that sort of that feeling of a paralysis or having problem moving forward toward our destiny or forward toward our call, whatever. And I don't believe that you have one destination, right? Your destiny is many, many moments, right? It's connected to many moments. This is one of those moments. But those moments, because they're very significant, the opposition, right, will always try to slow you, right? Always try to slow you down. And the reason the opposition will always try to impede you is because typically our true DNA is connected to a call that will take us into a prolific living place, right? A place of fullness, if you will.
Prosper,
Right?
Yeah.
So we no longer live in an existence, but we also live in productivity, in proliferation. We are prospering in whatever we do, right? So opposition is always trying to slow that down, because this is the reality. If you ever step into the fullness or into all of the moments of your destiny, what's going to happen is opposition loses the battle. And we always have. There will always be a positive and a negative. There will always be, right? There will always be good and bad. There will always be a positive outcome, and the opposition is always going to be fighting that outcome. But if you get to that place of your fullness, then you're going to affect opposition. And opposition actually loses ground and loses authority when you step into one of your moments. It gives you greater authority.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, again, it's also interesting you said that, because I was moving slowly while trying to rush, and in the meantime, it seemed like nothing was going well.
Right.
You know, my makeup wasn't on straight, and I felt like it was taking too long. I kept messing up. Eventually, the guy did leave because I was taking too long.
Oh, gosh.
But he didn't seem, from what I remember looking outside, he didn't seem angry or upset. In fact, it seemed like he was joking around with my dad, like he
Right.
already knew me, even though I had never met him.
Right.
Like, oh, I knew that she'd do this. It's okay. Like I'm gonna come back. You know, this doesn't faze me.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that is the way Creator is
Yeah.
to our lives. He loves us and He knows where we are. And when we're not quite ready, right?
Yeah.
When we're not quite ready for what He has for us, He will always return. But He meets us where we are.
Yeah.
He allows us to get where we need to be in the moment that we can get there. You know, you are where you are till you're someplace else, right? But He will continually come back. He never gives up, right?
Yeah.
Because He wants you to step into that destiny. I love this dream. Brooke, this is so, thank you for sharing it with me. Okay, go ahead. There are
interesting,
lots
right?
of details in this
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So he was very gracious and hopeful, and again, I didn't see him leave, but I saw my dad come back inside, and my dad was the one that said he would be back and take me out a second time. This time he would be taking my whole family and not just me to a nice restaurant slash resort that my dad had said was built with his name in the title, indicating that this guy was pretty wealthy or famous. And I remember my dad kind of looking, not shocked, like he didn't know, but also like, this is a pretty big deal.
This is a big thing.
That he's doing this for our whole family,
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's just the outcome, your father, Creator even, seeing the outcome of what's going to happen when you come into a union where you not only live prolifically in what you're called and you're destined to, but you share that with someone who supports you in that. This is where we flip to some of the literal, right? Because Creator wants you to be with someone who is going to walk that walk with you, right? And not hold you back.
Yeah.
I love that. And the restaurant is about fellowship, communion, right? So
And he invited my whole family.
the
not
whole
just me.
family,
Yeah.
because it affects everyone around you,
Yeah.
right? It affects your whole sphere of influence. It's not just about you. If you step into your destiny, it affects your whole sphere of influence. And a resort is usually a place where you also get rejuvenated.
Relax,
You get
yeah.
refreshment, relaxation, and that fellowship. It's this sweet place, right? It's like the sweet spot. We want the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Oh,
This felt like an upgrade, like
Wow.
like I wasn't ready the first time,
Yeah.
but this second time felt like, and not that I was being diminished an
Yeah.
opportunity. It felt more of an upgrade
Right.
experience. Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense because, Creator is like, not only will I come back to get you, my dear, but I'll take you and those you love.
Yeah.
You and your whole family. You and your whole sphere. I'm going to affect your whole sphere. I'm going to affect everyone within your influence throughout your life because you said yes, because you showed up,
Wow.
because you were ready.
So they get the blessing too.
They get the blessing. We all get the blessing.
Yes.
Right? I
Yes.
love it.
That's awesome.
So sweet.
As the dream went on, I learned that this guy was like a famous soccer player or something.
Wow.
And I believe he might have been Brazilian. Because when my dad told me where we'd be going for this restaurant resort, it had his name in the title, his last name in the title. And once that was revealed to me, I started realizing how important this guy was.
Yeah.
And he was apparently so famous. Like, I guess he was like a recent MVP or something of soccer.
Wow.
But because I don't follow soccer, I had no idea who he was. But everyone around me was kind of freaking out, like, oh, this guy, which was crazy. But it's interesting because this guy that he was talking about, that wanted to take us to the resort, and the guy that was there the first time, they were the same guy,
Okay.
but they had completely different features.
Okay.
The first guy that showed up with the blue Mustang, he had more of like tan blondish features. He had buzzed hair. He had like a brown leather jacket on.
Okay, let me stop you there.
Yeah.
Okay, now what was his first name?
Ryan.
Okay. So,
And I only know that because it wasn't in the dream, but he looked like a guy in real life.
perfect.
named
Okay,
Ryan.
so we'll use that piece.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but this is the deal. He looked younger in the beginning.
Yes.
And the reason is because the destiny, that vision, wasn't established. It wasn't developed. It was still young. And you hadn't even acknowledged it yet. You hadn't been really in touch with it. If you had been in touch with it, you would have been ready for the first day. But it wasn't established at that time. So you had to wait till all of that matured in you, which makes him look more mature at the end of the dream.
Yeah, because at the end of the dream,
Because he had a little...
Yeah, he was tall, had more dark features,
Okay.
and had like slight stubble on his face, but his beard was more gray. And
Okay.
even though he looked like he had a very young face, he didn't look older
Yeah, yeah.
completely, but
Yeah.
just his beard was a little gray, and that weirdly didn't bother me for
Yeah.
some reason.
Well, that's because the dream, the vision,
Yeah.
had established, it had developed, right? It had
yeah.
matured, in other
Yeah.
words, and it was ready for you. Now, Ryan means descendant of the king. Let's see, Ryan also means little king. So all of that begins to sort of fit together, like he might be the son of the king. Right? So it's like twofold, right? It's like part of who Creator is, like the redemption of Creator and what He's given us, right? Some would say that's the life of Jesus, the death and the resurrection of Jesus, that redemption, right? So if that's part of the dream and He's maturing all of that, I'm not negating the literal part. I'm saying the spiritual part is as important. It probably causes the literal to manifest when we operate in the spiritual and we can respond in that place. Isn't that brilliant?
That's
though?
amazing. And that confirms because that it felt like the way his expression was.
Wow.
Again, he knew me and I didn't really know him, but he knew me through and through the first time,
He knew you and he loved you where you were.
Exactly.
Unconditionally.
Yeah.
He didn't care that you weren't prepared.
Yeah.
He knew that you'd be prepared when it was time.
Yeah.
Your time. He would get you prepared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And then the second time I saw him from afar, and I didn't have an interaction with him. Both times I didn't have an interaction with him. I was more observing him, and his again, his complexion looked different, yet the actual character of him did not change. He was so nice to everyone around him.
Wow.
He was laughing, joking around, and in both of the men that I saw, even though they're the same person, right? Both of them, the one thing that was the exact same was the life behind his smile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it was so genuine.
Yeah.
It was so, and it was crazy because both times I didn't have an interaction with him, yet I just knew that he knew me and was already so confident that I was his.
Yeah.
You know?
The love.
Exactly.
The
And
love.
yet he wasn't focused on me. He was focused on the people he was present with. Like he was present with my father and he was engaged with my father. You know, and it's interesting you say the creator, because my dad was kind of giving him advice like, hey, don't worry, she's not ready. It's totally fine. And he was kind of saying, oh, I know,
Oh,
you know.
sweet.
And then the second,
I know. It's okay.
And the second time, him being around, you know, almost like people that worked for him, and you know,
His
even though
entourage.
yeah, pretty much his entourage, yeah, and they were working for him, yet he was so just like pouring into them with his smile and his laughter and just really a genuine person.
I love that. And you know, I love that in the end he was Brazilian, had sort of a Brazilian feel. You know, those Latinos, they're, you know, they're something else, right? But they're very gregarious and they're very family oriented and they love people. So I love that it was Brazilian.
Yeah.
And he carries the ball. You know, he was a soccer player.
Oh, that's true.
He carries the ball. You know, and think of that like a message that would say to you, you know, all you have to do is show up, but he will carry the ball. He'll take care of the goal. He'll get you to the goal. All you have to do is show up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Brooke, thanks for being with me.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing this dream. I love you, and this is so awesome.
Thank you.
You are so precious, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad to be here in Delaware with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. We'll do this again.
Yeah.